collection topic is also very important topic when you are working on the project and everything. Okay, so I have added some points here. So I'm going to cover in this particular session regarding about the collections and everything, because yesterday I started with a very basic intro about the collections and everything, but don't worry, I'm going to cover one more time in a step by step manner, so to understand this collections concept and everything. Okay, so before entering into the collection topic, why we should understand this collection concept, what is the importance we need to understand this, I'm going to tell you that. Okay, so before jump into the collection topic, we should understand the variables concept. Okay, so because the evaluation you will understand was step by step why the particular concept is not enough, then the collection concept is why it is implemented, you will understand. Will tell you that when it is coming to the variables concept, what we can do, we can assign only one single values only to them. Okay, we cannot assign more than that. So if you want to assign more than that, what is the concept we are using? Arrays concept we are taking. Okay, either you are taking fixed length array or variable length array, whatever it is, but you are taking arrays concept. But the problem with arrays concept here, it is there is some limitations actually. Okay, so we can fetch the data, we can fetch the data in any order, but the thing it is there is some limitations are there. But collections is a more powerful framework. Collections is a more powerful framework which is implemented in Java. When we are working on data like related scenarios, the collection framework is best suitable. Okay, so that we can maintain the data order, we can fetch the data order, so lot of transactions we can perform more powerful in collections rather than while comparing with arrays and everything. So that is why if I ask you which one is more better, arrays or collection, I always vote for collections. Why? Because more powerful scenarios are implemented in the collections concept. Okay, now I'm going to tell you one by one, what is this implementation and everything. So it's very, very important topic, and definitely you will get a lot of scenarios, lot of questions from this particular topic. Okay, let's one by one. Let me cover this. If anybody asks you what is meant by collection, you have to say it is a framework. It is a framework from Java which provides an architecture to store and manipulate the group of data objects or group of objects, whatever it is. Okay, it is a framework which provides an architecture to store and to manipulate the group of data objects. So whatever data we are assigning, we are storing in the collections implementation, that we can manipulate in a different manner, in a easy manner, in effective manner. So that is the reason it is a uh, powerful architecture. Next thing, whatever operations you are performing in this particular collections, like you can search for the data, you can sort the data. Sorting means you can make the order like ascending order, descending order. Okay, these kind of things will be called as a sorting of the data. And you can insert the data, you can manipulate the data. Okay, you can remove, that means you can delete the data, etc. These kind of transactions you can easily perform by using about the Java collections rather than arrays concept. Okay, these things we can also do with arrays also, but not much effective. Okay, but it is very easy when you are using about the Java collections implementation. So that is the difference you first you have to be understand here. Now I'm showing here the complete and hierarchy structure about the collections. See guys, collection is always a combination of a different interfaces and as well as classes. Collection is a combination of a different interfaces and as well as classes. When we are having these two things, then we can call it as a collection. Collection means a group of objects that I'm going to show here. This figure you have to be try to understand. You will easily understand about all the things are here. You see that the first one, the color representation also, I'm going to tell you that if you understand this figure, almost you will get a complete picture about the collections. Okay, next thing, if you see the first figure, first representation, iterable. Okay, iterable is an interface. Iterable is an interface. If you observe in this figure, in the whole picture, only iterable is represented as a red color. So this is a main beginning. And okay, the collection concept will begin from this particular iterable interface itself. That is why it is a singly and uniquely showing that here iterable is a interface. And from that iterable interfaces, the collection concept, the collection interfaces, the subparts, and everything is derived from here itself. Okay, everything is derived from here itself. Let me show you that. So that is why you can also see that arrow marks also they mentioned in a different manner here. If you observe here, the collection interface which is expanding from here to expanding to iterable interfaces. But from the collection interfaces, if you observe here, the arrow marks are different here. We'll tell you that once you completed this scenario and everything, you will understand all these scenarios. Now, if you see that there is a collection interface, again this collection interface which is having a different interfaces and everything, list interface, queue interface, dq interface, set interface. Okay, and again each and every interface is having an individually different classes inside of it. You try to remember that every interface is having a different classes inside of it. Suppose if I'm taking about list interface, the list interface is having a different classes. What are those classes? Array list is a one class which is available in the list interface. Similarly, linked list is a another class. Similarly, vector class is there. Similarly, we have a stack also, which is a part of vector. Like that, every interface is having some classes inside of it. And you try to understand it. If I'm taking about queue interface, the queue interface is also having priority queue, array DQ. Okay, so these kind of interfaces or classes we have. Similarly, we have a DQ interface. Next, very important thing is set interface. Okay, all are very important, but I'm going to cover first of all the major part and where which kind of interfaces we are going to use in the Selenium part, that I'm going to cover first of all, because I'm going to give you that high priority. Now, if you see that set interface, the set interface is also have a different classes like hash set, linked hash set, and tree set also. And sorted set is a one more interface which is the part of set interface. Okay, you need not to confuse, guys. I clearly prepared the document and I'm going to explain one by one all these things. Now, if you observe here, when it is coming to the collection interface, list interface, set interface will be more useful to us. Then in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you that what is the list interface and what is the difference between list and set interface. Okay, what is the major advantage between them? I'm going to cover all these things, how to implement also. Okay, and very important point here, and map interface also. Okay, this map interface is having a different classes like hash table, hash map. They will ask you what is the difference between hash table and hash map. What is the difference between array list and linked list? Which one will be more faster? So these kind of questions you will be get in the interviews especially. Okay, so by that reason you have to understand each and every topic very clearly. Okay, it looks like almost all implementations are same, but a very little bit of differentiation you can observe among all them. So that difference I'm going to tell you that how to remember and how to remember that particular syntax also. So that will help you to remember, and you can easily answer for any kind of question which you are getting from this collection topic. But damn sure they will ask you. Difference between hash table and hash map. And next one is a what is the use of the tree map, sorted map. They may be ask you any question, but very important, most of the times they are focusing on the list interface, set interface, and also hash table and hash map. These four they will ask you number of times, so that I'm going to cover you that also. Okay, now you see that this is a complete hierarchical figure which represents about the whole collection framework and whole collection framework. Now you see that first step itself I'm going to explain. The first one is a iterable interface. What is this iterable interface? Next, I'm going to explain collection interface. Next, I'm going to explain list interface. Then after, I'm going to explain in the list interface, we have a different classes, array list. Okay, what is the use of array list? How the representation? One by one, I'm going to cover so that you will understand very clearly all these things. Remember, guys, iterable. Iterable is generally it's a meaning of iterator. Okay, we'll tell you that with the example also here. Iterable interface is a root interface for all the collection implementation. That's what that iterable interface is represented with the red color. It's a root, it's a parent. So without having this iterable interface, no collection concepts are implemented. So that is the it is the heart and mind. It is the main beginning. It is a parent. So it is the root interface for all the collection classes. The collection interface, which extends the iterable interface. Therefore, all the subclasses of the collection interface also implement the iterable interface. That I will tell you that. You see that here the collection interface is extending the properties into iterable interfaces. Then only all the subclasses, whatever we have, array list, linked list, array DQ, hash set, and everything, these are all are we can use with the support of iterable concept. So that is the reason the collection is extending the properties into iterable. That you will understand how it is expanding. Will show you in the programming part. And one more thing you have to remember here, almost the color representation also you can easily understand here. This blue color is representing about the classes, and this color whatever it is, so this is called as a interface representations. We'll tell you that. Okay. Now you see that it contains only one abstract method, that is iterator. So that we are going to use in the logical part. So using this iterator, okay, we are going to declare all the iterable interfaces in your program. That I'm going to show you that in the logic itself. Now, what is meant by collection interface? So first you understand about the iterable interface. It is a root interface for all your collection classes, so that whatever whatever subclasses we have in the collection, they will be implemented with the iterable interfaces. By that reason, it is a root interface. Next thing, second part I am going to tell you, collection interface. Collection interface is the interface which is implemented by the all the classes in the collection framework. Okay, which have a different classes and matter. You could see that array list, linked list, array DQ, hash set, vector, priority queue, linked hash set, tree set, hash table, hash map. These are all are part of the collections only. To implement any one of this, we require about this collection interface. That's what they are mentioning here. Collection interface is the interface which is implemented by all the classes in the collection framework. That is why we are calling this collection group of objects, group of entities. Now you see that in the collection interface, we have a different classes. Okay, when the collection interface, again, we have a different interfaces. First thing I'm going to explain about list interface. First thing I'm going to explain about list interface. Okay, now you see that. In the list interface, there are four classes I'm going to tell you. First one, array list. Second one, linked list. And third one, vector. And fourth one is a stack. Fourth one is a stack. But why it I'm not showing the stack separately here, because stack is a class which is a part of the vector. So that is why I'm not showing it is separately, and the stack class is also part of the vector. So when I'm explaining vector class, automatically the stack class I'm going to explain. Now you see that first part I'm going to explain about the list interface. List interface. If anybody asks you what is the list, list is a class or interface? It is a list interface. That is the reason you have to remember that figure. When you remember that figure, you can easily answer for those kind of questions. Let me tell you that. First of all, list interface is a child interface of collection interface. Yes or not? Because it is a part of the collection interface. That is why I'm using the word as a child interface. Next thing, it inhibits a list type data structure in which we can store the ordered collection of objects. It can have duplicate values. Very important point you have to understand here, it is all kinds of collection concepts which is useful for the purpose of data insertion, data manipulation and everything. But if one point you have to be very clear here, if you are using list interface, if you are using list interface, the limitation here it is the data may have duplicate values. Suppose I created one data structure. In that data structure, I'm keeping Ravi, Ramu, Rajesh, and again I'm keeping one more user as a Ravi. Now, if you observe here in this data structure, there are some duplicated values are there. Ravi, I have used 2 times in this data structure. So with the help of list interface, we cannot identify is there any unique elements are like. It always encourages, it always accept duplicate values. Programming wise, I will show you that whether it is able to filter out or not. Now you see that if you want to follow list interfaces, we have a 3 classes. So one is array list, second one linked list, and third one vector, and fourth one is a stack. Okay. Now the syntax also I have specified here to initiate or to instantiate the list interfaces in your program. So this is the syntax you have to follow. Suppose I want to implement array list classes. I want to implement array list classes in my program. So what I have to do, I have to use array list. Here you have to use this data type, because this data type indicates about the what kind of data you want to insert. Suppose you want to insert string related data into this array list, then your data type is a string. Definitely you have to initialize it with some reference object, and you have to initialize that class also. Okay, now you see that this is the first one is a array list data type we need to specify, and some reference we need to declare equals to new array list class. We are initializing this. Suppose if we are using linked list classes, then linked list data type reference object equals to new linked list. One syntax, if you understand, almost remaining classes syntax looks like very similar. Only the difference is that class name will be changed. Okay, and third class is a vector. Now you see that vector data type some reference object equals to new vector. So if you write like this, what is the meaning? It is called as a class initialization. Okay, one specific class initialization you are doing with some reference object element. Similarly, stack class, stack data type and some reference object equals to new stack initialization. Okay, you cannot use all these four in a program. You have to use one by one. If you want to implement with array list, you have to follow this first syntax. If you want to implement linked list, you have to follow the second one. Concept wise, I'm going to tell you one by one, one by one. Okay, so this is the syntactical representation, how we need to initiate or instantiate in the program. Example, if you see, you will understand very clear. So first class, I'm going to explain from the list interface, that is a array list class. If I go to the figure, currently I'm discussing this list interface. Now I'm going to enter into this array list explanation. Okay, I'm going to explain this class, array list class. If I want to implement array list in my program, then how the syntax, how to write a program, that I will show you that. Okay, so this is the screen. Some description I have written about this array list class and what are the things we need to remember and what is the advantage with array list. Those points I have written here. Now you see that array list class which implements the list interface. Yes or not? Because it is a part of the list interface only, and it uses dynamic array to store the duplicate element of different data types. You remember one point here. Whenever I'm using list interfaces, whenever I'm using the classes inside of the list interfaces, which will accept the duplicate data, it will accept. If you want to avoid the duplicated data, then list interface won't work out to you. You have to use the set interface. If you want to eliminate duplicated data, then you have to use the set interface. That is the next level topic. Currently you are learning about list interface scenarios are here. Okay, the array list class implements the list interface, and this array list class, which uses dynamic array to store the duplicate element of different data types. And second very important point, whenever we are storing the data in the array list, which will maintains the insertion order, in which order we are inserting the data, in the same order which will maintain the data. So it is called as a non-synchronized. We may get the question, array list class is a synchronized or non-synchronized? You have to say your answer is non-synchronized. So that reason, whenever you are preparing for any topic, you have to question yourself. You have to question yourself. Suppose if I if any question, uh, if I get from this particular topic, how to answer. And also while preparing for any topic, you have to analyze what kind of questions we can expect from this particular topic. That is the only way to practice and prepare the programming subjects. Hmm. So that's the reason array list is a non-synchronized procedure. And the next one here, the elements whatever we stored in the array list, we can access the data randomly, like arrays. Arrays also, how we can fetch the data randomly. In the same way, in the array list also we can fetch the data randomly. 3 points I have explained here. Easy points I'm going to tell you. Array list class advantage is it cannot duplicate the different data types. That means it can accept the duplicated values. Second point is a which will store the data in a insertion order, and it is a non-synchronized. And third point is a we can fetch the data from the array list in any order. Randomly we can fetch it out. So these 3 points will help you to understand the programming and everything. Okay, but reference purpose, you see that I have implemented some program also here, same program that I'm going to give you that also. You see, I created one simple class array list, Java class I created. Now I completely implemented the logic in the main method, and this is the logical part. You have to understand what kind of class I'm taking, guys. Here, array list. You can directly type. You can directly type this. When you type this, you will get the control space, so that the proposals you will get, you have to choose the right one to declare all these things. That I'm going to show you that which one we need to select. Now you have to check this, the syntax. As per the syntax, we declared or not, we have to check it. Array list. So this is the data type. What is the data type I'm using here? String. Why? Because I want to store string related data into the array list. That is why I'm taking data type as a string. If you want to take numerical representation, then you have to take about int. Okay, if you want to implement decimal representation like floating related one, then you have to take about the floating. So accordingly, we have to choose the a particular data type. Now you see that array list. Next array list is the class, and next string is my data type, and here it is a reference object. You can give any name. You can give any name, but by default we have this reference list equals to new array list initialization on the string data. So this is the syntax you have to follow, guys. Okay, this will be changed every time when you are using a different class. If I'm using about linked list, this will be changed. The classes will be changed. If I'm using vector, the class will be changed. If I'm using stack, the class will be changed. But almost the syntax looks like same. Okay. Now, yes, with this line, what is happened? We created one array list and we specified the type of data what we want to be inserted here. I want to create one array list and I want to store some string related data inside of it. Yes, it created one array list in the memory. Now I want to add some data into that array list. How to add it? You have to use the add method. You have to use the add method, right? So for that, what I am writing here with reference, you need to write list dot add. So this is the string which you want to insert, Selenium. And one more data I want to add QA. And one more data I want to implement testing. And one more data I implemented QA. If you observe here, 4 data elements I have inserted. In this 4, there are 2 duplicates are there. Correct or not? So the array list will never be bothered about, will never eliminate the duplicated content. If there is any duplicated content, it will directly display that. If you want to eliminate duplicated content in your data, then you have to use the set interfaces. Got it? So if I'm executing this program, it will display all the data, including duplicated data also it will display. Let me continue this and we'll explain that. Okay, I have added the data like this. And next one, this is the main implementation part. What is the iterator here? Iterator is a interface. That's what I'm saying, guys, at the beginning. All collection implementations are extended with the iterable interface. Without support of this iterable or iterator interface, no collections are not going to be implemented. So that is the reason in every collection implementation, this iterator is a mandatory interface. Mandatory interface. You will see in all programs this interface. Iterator is an interface. ITR is some reference equals to. Now where I want to implement this iterator on this array list. So that's what I'm writing, list dot iterator. List dot iterator. So that whatever the list we added on this list, it is going to be iterate. Iterate means iterating. Iterating means looping, traversing and what. Okay, iteration of elements is looping of elements is same. So which is going to iterate each and every data whatever we are inserting on the array list. First it will go to the Selenium and it will print. Next QA it will print. Okay, for that I'm implementing one while loop concept. Why I'm using while loop concept here? Because I want to print all the data in the console area. So to print all the data in the console area, I have to read all the data one by one. Until how many times it is going to read? Until the maximum data which you have inserted, until that period it is going to be inserted. For that reason, I'm using while loop concept here. So you have to see the expression how I am writing while itr dot has next. That means while iterator has next means it will always look for is there any next line or not. Is there any next line or not? First it will read for Selenium. Immediately after that it will look for is there any next data is available or not. Yes, it is available, QA. So that it will enter into the loop and it will continue the reading. Next it will look for next data. Yes, testing is available. So that it will read, enter into the loop. Next it will look for the next data. QA is there. Yes, so that it will be enter into the loop. Next again it will look for the next data. There is no next data after the QA, so that it will simply come out from the loop and completed the program. Okay, that is the advantage with has next. Okay, has next is always look for the next line. So similarly I'm writing here while itr dot has next is my expression. Now here I'm writing one SOP statement to print the one by one your list of data here. That's what I'm writing, itr dot next implementation. You understand here? If you understand this program, whatever programs I'm explaining in the collections all are same and same. The same structure, the same example but only the difference here it is the class names will be changed. That's it. The class names and the reference object name, whatever we are specifying, that will be changed. That's it. The rest of the code, everything is almost same. Got it or not? So time being purpose, what I did, I implemented all these programs. I implemented all these programs here itself. I'm going to show you that. Okay. So yesterday night itself, I have written all these things. You see that. This is the array list implementation. Here I want to show you that what kind of declaration I have implemented. I want to show you that. See guys, I'm taking this array list from where? Java.util. Java.util. Let me comment this. Let me comment this. We'll write one more time for your reference purpose. You see how I have written array list. Use control space. Okay, when you control space, the list of proposals will come, and in that proposal you have to choose the relevant one. Now the people will get one doubt, sir, which one I need to choose? There are two similar classes are there with the same name, array list. Which one I need to choose? I need to choose from array list from collections or array list from java.util. Which one is suitable for us? You remember guys, we need to select from the java.util. Okay, all the collections packages and everything are available in the util packages. That is why you have to choose the second one. Let me take the second one. You see, when I'm taking the second one, this is the symbol you will get. This is the symbol you will get. Suppose if I'm taking array list, okay, already it is there. So let me array list. If I'm taking, instead of second one, I'm taking the first one, array list from collection. You have to see, are you getting any this kind of representation, open like arrow and closing arrow here? No. So for that, what I'm writing, and one more thing you have to check it here, array list is a class, so that it is beginning with uppercase letter. List also represented with capital letter, but here you see that it is showing with small lot lettering and matter. So that is the reason it's a like blind marks you have to remember. So you have to take the array list from the Java util. So that I'm taking this one. Now it is showing some element here, element type. Now I'm giving that as a string. The data type we need to supply here, so that I'm writing string. The next thing, you have to specify your reference object. Either it may be your name also you can declare, because we are going to initialize it. Let me take it as a Selenium equals to new array list. You have to initialize the class array list. So which one we need to take here? The first one we need to take java.util. Okay, ends with semicolon. Automatically the declaration will be completed. Now you have to complete the program, the next lines with this reference object selenium.add. Selenium.add you have to write. Previously I used a list reference here. That is why it is showing here. Understand? So whatever reference you are writing, with this reference only you have to continue the next level declarations. Got it? So for your understanding purpose, I written this. In the same way, you have to implement your logical implementation. Let me enable this, the default one, the previous one which I written. Now, as per the example, I have explained all this logical part. Now I'm going to run this program. You see that whether it is eliminating the duplicated content or not. It is not eliminating, guys. First it is printing Selenium, next it is printing QA, next it is printing testing, and next it is printing QA. Okay, if you observe the output, you will understand few points whatever I explained in the explanation part. Array list never follows, never check for duplicated content. If there is any duplicated content, it will simply display it. Yes or not? Yes, it is printing duplicated content. And next one, array list always follows insertion order. Insertion order. In which order you are inserting the data, in the same order it will display the result. Suppose if I am removing from here and I am keeping here, Control S. So what will be happen? I changed the order. Earlier, the Selenium I kept at the beginning of your array list, but later I have moved to the at the end of your scenario, at the end of the data. Now again you run this test, it is printing QA, testing QA Selenium. So array list is always follows the insertion order. In which order you are inserting the data into array list, in the same order it will be displayed. So that is the reason it is a non-synchronized scenarios, and it never check for duplicated content. It is always print the duplicated content. You understand array list implementation? So like this, we have a next second class also, linked list. Okay, for every concept I prepared the program. So array list you understand. Now second one I'm going to take about linked list class from this list interface. Okay, these are all are different class, but every class is having some advantage. Now you see that linked list. Linked list class is also from the collection interface, and it uses double linked list internally to store the elements. Okay, which is related to the data structure concept. We have a single linked list and double linked list. Okay, so the advantage with linked list here it is, which will store the data internally with the support of double linked list implementation. Okay, in the linked list we have a single linked list concept and a double linked list concept. So when it is a double linked list, the advantage here it is the connections will be very faster. The connections will be very faster. Next, linked list class is also to store the duplicate elements. You simple remember whatever classes I am explaining in the list interface, everything can accept the duplicated data. It cannot eliminate the duplicated content. If you want to eliminate duplicate content, list interface won't work out to you. You have to go for set interface concepts only. So that is the point you have to be very clear. If anybody asks you what is the difference between list interface and set interface, very important point and direct straightforward point, you can say that list interface is contains duplicated data. Set interface which never accept the duplicated content. It filter out and it will print only the unique content only. That is the difference, you can say that. Okay, you will observe a lot more differences when we are continuing the concepts individually. See that. Second point, linked list class also maintains the insertion order, and it is also not synchronized, same as array list class. But the advantage here it is, in the linked list classes the manipulation is very fast because no shifting is required, because it is the double linked list concept. Only the difference here, if I'm using array list, shifting is mandatory, but if I'm using linked list concept, no shifting is required, so that the manipulation will be faster. Got it? So that is these key points you have to be remember, guys. And for this also I have uh, implemented one more program also here. Only the thing it is, you see that this class will be changed. Array list we have implemented. Now I am taking linked list here. You see, earlier it is array list. Now I am taking linked list. You have everything predefined. Just type normally linked list. So, but make sure which class you need to say. You need to take about from java.util only. Yes, when you type java.util, then only this element thing you will get. Now here you need to type about your element type. What kind of data you want to store in that linked list class. Whether it is a string, you have to type for string. If it is a integer, type for integer related data type. Okay, and this is also you have control space. You will get everything. You see the string class from java.language. Understood? So accordingly you have to take it. When you are selecting proper proposal, then only your program will be defined with proper declarations. Got it? Yes, the same procedure you have to follow for the next of the implementation also. Okay, so this is the reference object. LL is nothing but linked list I am taking, equals to new linked list class I am initializing on the string type. Next, ll dot add selenium something. The rest of the code is common. Okay, so that is the reason if you understand one program, the rest of the programs you can easily understand here. Okay, but only the difference here, you cannot see any output differentiation, but only the thing it is manipulations in the linked list will be very faster because it follows double linked list concept. It follows double linked list concept, so no shifting is required. That is the advantage with the linked list implementation. You can make any kind of transactions. You can make any kind of transactions, but output wise you never see any differentiation, but execution wise it will be more faster. You see Selenium QA testing and QA. Okay, so this is the implementation part, linked list. Similarly, we have a next one more class also, vector. Vector. Vector is a class which uses dynamic array to store the data elements. It is similar to array list. Whatever I explained in the array list, the same concept is applicable in the vectors also. But only the difference here it is vector is a synchronized type. Array list, linked list, non-synchronized array. But vector class is a synchronized because it contains many methods that are not part of the collection framework. So each and every class concept you have to understand by remembering the bullet points only. Okay, don't try to remember a more theoretical part. It won't work out to us. Definitely it will create a confusion to us. So you always try to remember the bullet points and then you try to expand it, elaborate it. Okay, so vector class is a synchronized because it contains many methods which are not part of the collection framework. So that is the advantage with the vector. You are using array list class, you are using linked list class, you are using vector, you are using stack. These all classes purpose is to store the data. To store the data. But where the differences we are observing here, the data manipulations we can observe here. Okay, array list, when I'm using array list, what will be happen, it is a synchronized, it is a non-synchronized type, and whatever the data we are writing inside of it, that will follow the insertion order only. Okay, and when it is coming to linked list concept, it follows double linked list structure so that no shifting is required, data manipulations is more faster. And when it is coming to vector class, it is also dynamic array and similar to array list, but it is a synchronized type. Okay, because it contains many number of methods inside of it. If you observe the syntax here, you see that this is the vector class syntax representation. The rest of the code, everything is same. For this also I have implemented the logical part. You see that vector, how I have written also will show you that vector class. You see which one we need to take from second one, java.util vector class. When you select automatically, the proper declaration will be defined in the program. Now you have to type what kind of data you want to assign. Now create some reference object, vect equals to new vector class initialization. Automatically the declarations will be defined in the program when you are selecting a correct proposal. So that is the reason I'm showing in front of you the exact logic which we need to be declared. Okay, you have to continue the program with this vector dot add like this. But already I have implemented with this, so that is the reason you need not to write again. For your understanding purpose, I have written this. You executed this, same output will come, Selenium QA testing QA. But what the difference you have to observe here, the syntaxes. So even in the interview part also, they will ask you syntax. Syntax also, they will ask you directly. They maybe give paper and pen. So just write the syntax for array list. And how do you define array list in your program? Just write the syntax or just write the logic. They maybe ask you, create one array list and assign some data inside of it, write a logic. Then how do you write? So this is the logic you need to write. You need to create an array list and you need to define the data into that. Okay, you need to write the logic to read the data from the array list using iterator implementation. So that is the reason, never by heart the program, understand the program, and you need to remember that process. When you remember that process, automatically you can able to answer. Got it? They never ask you any unknown questions, and almost all questions you know, answers also you know. But the thing it is, they may ask that question in a different manner, so people will be get confused here. Okay, this question I we did not cover, so they're asking a different questions. No, almost they will ask same questions, but the way they are asking the question will be different. So you have to be very focused while giving an answer. So that's the reason practice and understanding is very important. Got it? So this is about the vector implementation, guys. Similarly, we have a stack class. Now you see that stack class is also a subclass of the vector. If you know vector, automatically stack also you will understand. Okay, now the next thing it is, stack class is a subpart of vector. But very important point you have to be understand, guys, here. Stack class follows LIFO structure. And LIFO structure, LIFO is nothing but last in first out. Last in first out. Here we'll give you one example here. In which order we are inserting the data, in the same order the data will be stored. That is the concept, right? But when you are using stack, what will be happen, I'm going to tell you. The last in first out data. Last in first out data. Suppose we'll give you an example. Take one bunch of plates. Take one bunch of plates. You keep all the plates in one order. Okay, there are, I asked you to take 10 number of plates and you keep all them in a order. So if I want to pick the first plate, how do you pick? Directly you can pick whatever the last plate we inserted, that plate we can directly take. That means last in first out. Now suppose if I ask you, take the first plate which you inserted initially, that means which plate you will take? At the bottom of the plate you are going to take. That is nothing but first in first out. Okay, stack always follows last in first out. Queue always follows first in first out. You just remember this differentiation. Stack always follows LIFO structure, that is nothing but last in first out. And it means the last data which we inserted into that will be fetched out first of all. That is a stack. If it is a queue, the first input and first output, whatever the first input we inserted in that will be come out first of all. That is nothing but FIFO, first in first out. But here I'm talking about stack, so that you just ignore the FIFO topic, just you remember LIFO structure. So that's what they're writing. The stack is a subclass of the vector. It implements the last in first out data structure, that is nothing but stack. But here the stack class, which contains about a different methods like boolean push, okay, boolean peek, okay, boolean pop. Like this we have a defined different methods to define the properties. We'll tell you this very important definition. I'm going to tell you. Push and pop. And push is nothing but to insert, pop is nothing but to remove to remove it. Okay, that I'm going to show with some example. You will understand that example. You will see. For this also I prepared the same example, whatever I inserted in the presentation, the same program I have taken here. So you see which class I'm taking, guys. Here stack class I'm taking. How to write this stack class? Just implement stack, use control space, take the class from java.util. Okay, so that the same kind of structure you will identify it, you have to fill it like this. Okay, stack, I'm initializing the stack class. Now here I'm writing stack dot push. In the previous program, array list, linked list, vector, what kind of method I'm using to insert the data? Add method I'm using. But when it is coming to stack concept, what kind of method we need to use, guys? Push method. Okay, that's what I clearly mentioned in the PPT itself. The stack contains a different methods which includes like boolean push, okay, boolean peek, okay, like pop. Like this we have a different methods for certain specific property declaration. Push is nothing but to insert the data. Pop is nothing but to remove the data. Now you see that for this stack, I'm inserting some data. Like how I'm writing with the reference stack dot push. What is the data? Selenium. It will be inserted into the stack. Next, stack dot push testing I have inserted. Stack dot push QA inserted. Stack dot push Appium I inserted. Okay, let me remove this. Whatever I specified with pop, just I am removing here. You see. Later I will modify, will show you that. Now there are 5 data elements I have inserted into that stack, but all are using push method. So there I have inserted all these things. I have inserted all these things. And just iterator concept is mandatory for every collection implementation, so that I'm using iterator implementation, and I'm writing while loop concept using has next implementation, so that one by one it is going to read. Now control S and run it. Run it. What it is showing? Selenium, testing, QA, Appium, RPA. Correct or not? Yes. Now suppose if I want to remove RPA, I want to remove RPA from that stack. How can I remove? How can I remove? So simple, just comment it or delete this. It's not a solution, guys. Removing is nothing but removing the line from the code. It's not the way. You created one stack, you inserted some data inside of that stack. Now I want to remove that. I want to remove the data in any order also, in any location also. I want to remove that. For that we have to use some method. That method is called as a pop method. Okay, push method is for to insert, pop method is for to remove it. So for that what I'm going to do, suppose you see, if I'm writing like stack dot pop, okay, stack dot pop. Now what will be happen? Let's run and see what is happened, guys. Selenium it is printing, testing it is printing, QA it is printing, Appium it is printing. But why it is not showing RPA? Why? Because that RPA got removed from that stack, because I'm using the pop method after that push. Similarly, if I'm using pop method after immediately Selenium, let's write about stack dot pop method. Now what will be happen? The first push data Selenium, that will be also removed here. You see that it is printing testing, QA, Appium. It is not printing Selenium and RPA because these two are removed from that stack. Okay, so that is the implementation. You have to be very clear, guys. So I explained about the complete list interface implementation by using different classes, and array list I have implemented. Will show you the figure. This one. Array list I have explained. Linked list I have explained. Vector I have explained. In that vector, the subclass stack also I have explained. So with this, the list concept is completed. With this, the list concept is completed. Okay, you can handle any kind of question you are getting from this and everything. And I prepared some FAQs also regarding a list interface, some common questions, some important questions also, that also will share with you. So you can prepare those questions to while you are attempting the interviews, so that you can easily handle that. Got it? So the concept wise, the programming wise, you understood everything. Now, next very important point here, it is set interface. Q that I'm going to explain, DQ also I'm going to explain tomorrow, but I'm going to explain immediately set interface. You understand list interface, so that set interface is also very easily you can understand. Structure is same, but only few differences you will understand here. Okay, so the stack also we completed, right? Next you see second one, set interface. What is the use of set interface? That's what I'm writing here. Set interface is also from Java, which is available in java.util packages. That's what we are selecting, java.util, while selecting any class. Next thing, it is also extended from the collection interfaces. And next thing, it represents unordered set of elements which does not allow us to store the duplicate items. So this is the difference. Okay, array list or list interface follows ordered data, ordered elements, and which will accept the duplicate elements. But set is a unordered set of elements, but which does not allow you to store the duplicate items. Got it? So that's the reason set interface will be useful also in our automation part. Okay, now you see that set interface is implemented by a different classes. What is those classes? Hash set, linked hash set, and tree set. Okay, na? Set interface is also implemented with a different classes like hash set, linked hash set, and tree set. You see the figure, you see set interface, hash set, linked hash set, and tree set classes. I'm going to explain each and everything. Like how I have explained list interfaces, in the same way I have each and every program and everything. Now you see that the set interface can be instantiated in the programming like this. Set interface, data type, reference object, and similarly new initialization. Same structure, and only the class names will be differ. That's it. That is why if you understand one concept clearly, the rest of the things you can easily understand. That is the advantage with the collections concept and everything. Understood or not? Yes. So like that I have implemented hash set and everything, but will 5 minutes I will complete all these things, will explain that. You see that first one, hash set class I'm going to take. Hash set is a class from the set interface. It represents the collection that uses hash table for storage. You remember here. Okay, to storage purpose, to store the data in the hash set, what kind of thing it is using? Hash table it is using to store the data here. Hash table. Now, hashing is used to store the elements in the hash set. It contains unique items. So it never accepts duplicated content. It never accepted duplicated content. For this, I have implemented one more logic program also. But if you observe here, what kind of class I am writing here? Hash set, the data type. Next one, reference object I am taking equals to new hash set. I am initializing the class. This is common. This syntax is common every time. Now, with this interface, I am writing set dot add Selenium, add QA, add testing, add QA. If you observe here, two similar elements are there. Duplicated content is there. If I am using list interface, it will print all. If I am using set interfaces, what will be happen? It will filter out the duplicated content. It will print only the unique content. Like it will print Selenium, QA, testing. That's it. It never print the duplicated content. If there is any duplicated content, it will simply terminate it or ignore it. The rest of the logic, iterator concept, has next expression, these all things are common. Okay, na? That I will show you at the end of the concept. This is also I prepared. Next, second one, linked hash set. Linked hash set. So whenever there is a linked concept is there, you remember simply there is a single linked list or a double linked list implementation is there inside of it. Okay. Same purpose only. But the thing it is, it maintains the insertion order and permits the null elements also. Okay, null elements also we can accept it with the support of linked hash set implementation. So for that, I have taken one more example. Same program, same logic, same inputs, but only the thing it is the class name is completely different. Linked hash set class I am taking here. And the same way, sorted set also I have implemented. This is an interface, and sorted set is a interface. Sorted set purpose I am going to tell you to sort the order, to sort the your data order. It is going to be sort. You see that sorted set is an alternate of set interface that provides total ordering on its elements, but the elements we can arrange it in the ascending order. Ascending order we can store. Ascending order means, imagine if it is a string related data, alphabetical order it is going to maintain. That is nothing but sorted set. So here two things will be applicable, and sorted set means ascending order will be applicable, and also duplicated content also will be ignored. Understood? That will show you that here. You see. Example, everything I have will execute it, will show you that the manipulations and everything. But you try to see the declaration of syntax and everything. But very important point I forgot to say here, whenever I'm using sorted set class and when I'm trying to initialize it, you cannot use sorted set, and you have to use the new tree set class. This is the only the difference you have to follow whenever you are using sorted set. In the program I will show you that where the difference you can you need to observe here. Whenever I'm using sorted set class, sorted set interface, and this is not a class, sorted set interface, we have to initialize that using tree set. You cannot initialize with the interface. Programming I will show you that. You try to remember it. The last class it is tree set class, and tree set class. Same purpose, tree set is also, but the thing it is the access or retrieval time for tree set is a quite fast. That means data manipulation, data fetching will be quite fast compared to other set interface elements when you are using tree set class. And it is also maintaining in a ascending order and everything. Will show you that. The same purpose, the example also I have implemented will show you that. For all the set examples, whatever I have shown, they also I implemented here will show you that. First one, hash set. You see. So this is the class which we need to implement. But the difference you have to implement, if there is any duplicated content, that will be ignored. Let's save this and run this. What is happening, guys? It is printing QA, Selenium and testing. QA, Selenium and testing. But if you observe here, in which order I inserted Selenium, QA, testing, QA. But why it is executing in this order? QA, Selenium and testing. Actually, there are two times QA is there, but it is only printing one time. That's what duplicated content is ignoring here. Only one time it will print. Next it is printing Selenium, next it is printing testing. Why it is printing in this order? You remember one point here. It is always follows the order. It is always follows the order implementation. Let's save it and refresh your Eclipse. Now run as Java application. Now you see that QA, Selenium, testing. As per order, ascending order, it is printing. Okay, from A to Z characters, first it will come QST. So it's printing. Okay, this is one example I taken here. Let me take another example, linked hash set example. Now you try to run this example, you see, is there any difference it is coming here? Selenium QA testing. Now, see guys, the thing it is, definitely it will follows duplicated content and everything. You have to check it. Sorted set also implemented. You see that. This I will write one more time. You see, sorted set interface I want to take. Sorted set interface. Which one I need to take? Class or interface? I need to take interface from java.util, so that the second one I need to take. Here I want to use about string data type, and I want to use about some reference like ss equals to new sorted set. If I'm trying to write like this, will it accept or not? You have to see. Sorted set. Is it accepting? Just use the first one. Is it accepting, guys? No. If you place the mouse cursor here, you see that. What it is showing here? Sorted set must be implement the inherited abstract method and add unimplemented methods. So this is not a way to implement here. For that, the syntax you have to remember, guys. Use new tree set. Tree set class we need to implement. Tree set method I'm writing here. So this is the correct order, correct way to declare the sorted set. Already I declared here. That's what I can remove this. Now what I'm going to do, you see that. Selenium QA testing. Which we a sorted set compulsory follows the alphabetical order and run as Java application QA Selenium testing. So it is 100% follows the ascending order only. Suppose if I am making A before Selenium, I added one character like A. So what will be happen? First it will print actually. Now you see that. Control F11. What it is printing? A Selenium QA testing. Definitely it will follow alphabetical order. That is nothing but ascending order. Got it? So that we have to be remember, guys. Each and every program you run it and you see the differential part here. It is a tree structure pattern. It's a tree set class and last class which I explained here. So this is the declaration syntax you have to follow. And I added different data also, Selenium, MongoDB, beta testing QA. But if you observe here, there is no duplicated content. I did not add any duplicated content. If you want, you can add it also. Definitely it will filter out. You see in which order it is printing, guys? Beta testing, MongoDB, QA, and Selenium. So this is an order it is printing here. Now, suppose if I am adding set.add, like here I'm writing MongoDB one more time here. Okay, definitely there is some duplicated content and it won't to print one more time. See, one time it is going to print. So these are all our examples, individual examples, which I explained for every topic. But in Selenium part, how these topics will be useful to us, I'm going to tell you. But for that, I'm going to give you one clue today. Tomorrow, I'm going to cover that concept.